Good morning and happy Tuesday. Thank you so much for making the time to watch today's replay. I'm going to be talking about what you can do if you've ever felt discouraged with your message. Now, if you've been in business for any length of time, chances are that's happened at least once, and maybe it's currently happening for you too. And I hope today's messaging mini class can help give you some perspective on what you can do to address that. For those of you who don't know me or don't know me well, my name is Karie Price. I'm a brand messaging coach, helping ambitious service-based business owners find and own the words to stand out, be heard, and make your message roar. Hey, Sandy, thank you so much for joining me live. I'm so happy to see you here today. And if you guys are in the United States, first of all, I hope you had a wonderfully relaxing long holiday weekend. For those of you with family members, or if you yourself are serving our country, I just want to thank you for our service. I know that for most of us, all we had to worry about this weekend is what we were going to barbecue or what we might wear to the pool, but it's the sacrifice of so many of you and your family and loved ones that allows us to do that. So I just want to take a moment and thank you for that. Today, we are talking about what to do when you feel discouraged about your message. Now, if you're willing to be honest, tell me in the comments, have you ever felt that way? Maybe you're feeling that way right now, where you don't feel like you have the confidence in it, right? And let me actually start, let me move this out of my way here so I can see my notes. Let me actually start by defining for you what the word discouraged actually means. It means being deprived of courage, hope, or confidence, that you're disheartened or dispirited. How many of us, we're trying to build a business, have ever felt that way? Yeah, Sandy says, oh yeah, many times. And then I kick myself. Now, Sandy, you of all people know that your mindset around this is really important. And that is true. And so I want to talk today about how this discouraging feeling might be showing up for you in your business and what you can do about it. Because let's face it, if you're coming from a place of, I'm going to refer back to my notes, a lack of courage, a lack of hope, or a lack of confidence, it's really hard to do the things that we need to do to build a business, right? And I want that for you. So this is going to be, I'm not a mindset coach, but there is some mindset element to this. But what it's going to come down to is, what are you doing about it? Okay. But let's take a step back and let's talk about how this might be showing up for you, or how it might be affecting your business, whether you're consciously aware of it or not. If you're feeling discouraged about your message. By the way, let me just share this topic that I'm talking about today is because I asked people inside my free Facebook group, what are the things you're struggling with the most that you would love to see me talk about in these weekly messaging mini classes? And this was one of those things. But I thought it was awesome that this person was able to admit that, because I think we all have this at some points in our business. And I'm seeing this happen even with the clients that I'm actively working with right now to help them make their message roar. And it's because to have confidence in your message is really important, but it takes some work, right? So when we don't feel like we've nailed it, we get discouraged and we think like, ugh, am I ever going to figure this out, right? And you totally can. But how this might be showing up for you in your business right now is that you sit down to put out content, whatever kind of marketing you're doing, social media, email, videos, live or recorded, whatever it is that you're wanting to put out there, and you have no idea what to talk about or no idea what to write. That comes from a lack of confidence in your message, because if you really knew your message and if you knew who you were talking to, what they care about, what you do for them, the content would flow more easily. It might also be showing up for you in your business in that you're not putting out any content at all and you're lurking. You're showing up, I'm going to put that in air quotes. You're putting yourself out there, but in a very passive way. right? You're not actively promoting yourself. You're not putting out new content. Yes, maybe you're in other Facebook groups and you're responding to struggles that people are having, which is a great way to establish your expertise, but you're not putting anything out there to be a knowledge expert and to really showcase your area of expertise, right? So that's a symptom of being discouraged or not having confidence in your message. Because if you did have confidence, you would want to put out stuff all the time. You couldn't wait to share what it is you have to say because you know it can serve the people you're trying to reach, right? Sarah says, hey, I made it this week. Thank you so much for joining me live. I'm so glad you're here. The third way that this might show up for you in your business now or in the past or in the future is that you're putting content out there and it's not working. It doesn't get engagement. It doesn't attract the right people. So either you hear crickets or you're attracting the wrong people, the people who are freebie seekers. You guys, there's nothing wrong with getting freebies to help you. Okay. I'm even gonna give you one of mine today, but, know that in building a business, you ultimately need to be attracting the people who, yes, they might want your freebie and your free information to get to know, like, and trust you, but ultimately that they value what you do. They know they're the people that you know you can help and that they know you can help, and will ultimately become your ideal paying customers, right? So when I say you don't want to attract the freebie seekers, it's the people who will only ever want freebies and who don't invest in actually getting help, okay? So you're not bad for grabbing a freebie. I want to make that clear. But if you're putting content out there and you're only attracting people who want your free content, your free information, and don't value what you can actually do for them to pay you for that, they're not your ideal client. Serve them however you can. Let them take your freebie and move along. Those are not the people, though, that you want to attract to your business. So if you're putting content out there and it's not doing that, it might be because you lack confidence in your message and you lack the ability to know how to talk to the people that you need to attract who will be your dreamiest paying clients, right? So when you don't have that confidence, so these are 3 ways that's showing up for you, all related to creating content and putting yourself out there, because people cannot buy from you if they don't know you and everything you stand for and what you do for them and why you. If they don't like you and relate to you and connect to you, because like attracts like, or they are attracted to you because they want to be more like you, right? And they ultimately won't trust you enough to make the investment to work with you. Your content, your marketing is the delivery of your message. And so that's why when you're discouraged or have that lack of confidence in your message, that's where you're going to see it show up. You're going to see it show up in your marketing. And I'll just recap again. You either don't know what to put out there, right? Stare blank screen syndrome. You're not putting anything out at all because you don't know what to do, and so you don't even try, or you're putting stuff out there and it's not working, right? This is all a lack of confidence in your message, because when you don't have the confidence in your message that you know exactly how to talk to people, what they need to hear from you. I can't tell you how many times I do a Facebook Live and somebody will reach out to me and say, Karie, that's exactly what I needed to hear today. Like, yeah, that's what I've been struggling with, or I didn't even realize that was my problem, but that's exactly what I needed to hear today. So what happens, though, when you're not in that place is you don't get in the zone, right? Some people, there's the talk of being in your zone of genius. That's like knowing what it is you do, but you have to get in the zone of knowing how to talk to your ideal client in a way that feels really good for you, really authentic, and so that they can be attracted to you. Sandy says, yeah, you're attracting the wrong people. And when you're not in the zone, you're putting out weak content. That's that content that you don't even know what to write. You're like, I have to write something, right? Maybe I have to put out an email. I send an email to my list every week. I don't even know what to write, but I have to do something. So it's weak and it doesn't work. or you skip it because you don't even know what to say. And so you missed out an opportunity to connect with your audience that week. Or you put stuff out there and it doesn't do anything to contribute to people seeing you as an expert, right? I don't want you to have a weak message. I want you to have a strong, confident message, one that roars. You guys, I actually was just listening to Karie Perry's Roar right before jumping on this live. I love to use music to like get myself in the zone. And I was reading the lyrics as I was listening to it just to internalize it in a different way. And she talks about making the ground rumble, right? And being louder than the lion's roar. Did you know a lion's roar can be heard more than 6 miles away? You can only do that. Your message can only roar when it's confident and powerful, right? And you know what you need to say to put that out there. If you're not confident, if you're discouraged, remember, discouraged is being deprived of courage, hope, or confidence. When you are communicating from that place, your message is weak and timid, and it's not going to reverberate. It's not going to shake the ground. It's not going to help people be attracted to you. Sarah says, I have so many times where things connect and then other times where things fall flat. Not sure what the difference is. That's great to be aware of, Sarah, that you know that some things are really working and some things aren't. And yeah, you've got to do a little bit of research into understanding the difference between those kinds of content and why people are resonating and relating to certain pieces of content. The other thing I want you guys all to be careful of is engagement doesn't necessarily mean you're moving them down the line in their awareness of wanting to work with you. So I have a lot of posts inside my free Facebook group, the Messaging Den, that are for engagement. They're for community building. They're for helping people get to know each other. It's because I'm curious to know more about you guys. That's not content that necessarily moves you closer to wanting to buy from me. Now, that might help you get to know me, lets me get to know you. You might like me because and you like my group because you're seeing that engagement, but it's not necessarily getting you to want to buy from me. There's a different kind of content that I put out in my own group and in other places that are intended to do that. So one thing to look at, Sarah, is the content that's getting the engagement. Is it getting engagement for the sake of engagement, or is it really getting people to, move through their own spectrum of being aware of you and wanting to work with you? Okay. But sometimes what happens when you're putting content out there, and sometimes it hits and sometimes it doesn't, is maybe you're close in understanding what your ideal client really needs to hear, but you don't have it quite right. So sometimes when you talk about it, you're like, oh yeah, they kind of get it. And sometimes you just tip over into the oh, they don't care about that. There's a fine line in talking about what you want them to hear from you and what's really going to land from them. Okay. So when you don't have that confident message, by the way, here's another thing that happens. You start to subconsciously sabotage your efforts. Now, this is, again, sort of into the mindset realm. I am not a mindset coach. I am working with a mindset coach right now. By the way, she made me totally cry last week, helping me break through something that I've been struggling with for myself that has been causing me to sabotage my own efforts in my business. And it's not around my message, but it's about what I believe about business. And that's that I believe it's hard work. I believe that you have to work really hard to be successful. So what that does is it causes me to self-sabotage on things that could let it be easier for me, right? Yeah, Sandy says we can do that. We all have the ability to self-sabotage. The same thing happens in your message. When you're not confident that you know how to talk to the right people and that you have the right words to do that, you will self-sabotage. You will put out content that doesn't work in your favor. You will not put out content at all. You won't know how to warm up and nurture people to want to work with you. And so you won't even be aware that you're doing that because you believe that, maybe rightfully so, that your message isn't resonating for people. The way to build the confidence that your message is resonating to the right people, that it is relatable to your dreamiest client, is you have to do the work. Okay. Now, so I was just sharing with you, like, I believe that it's a belief I'm letting go of, by the way. I believe that building a business is hard work. I don't believe in the hustle. And some of you might, that's okay. I don't believe, well, I say that, but I have some underlying contradictory beliefs around that, which I'm now working on knocking down. I don't believe in the hustle, yet what I end up doing is hustling in a lot of ways in my business. But when one of the things, I was talking to my husband about it this weekend, and I was sharing with him what happened when I was talking with my mindset coach. And I said, do you remember we used to say, and we used to believe, we've had a full service branding business in the past. We said, if it feels hard, something's wrong. If it feels hard, we're doing it wrong. And we used to believe that. And we used to let that be our guide. If it's hard, something's wrong. We got to figure that out so we can adjust because it shouldn't be that hard. Well, over the years, I've taught myself and I've created a story that it's hard, right? And so if you do that, then you don't get focused on the right things. You don't say, well, this thing I'm doing is the hard way. And if I believe that it's hard, I'm going to keep doing it the hard way. If you believe it can be easy, if you believe that your marketing can be easy, if you believe that you have the power within you to speak directly to the heart of your ideal client so that they're attracted to wanting to work with you, like I believe, then you will find the way to make that happen, won't you? Right? Sarah says, this is what I help my clients with. It shouldn't be hard. And then I make it hard myself. Sarah, that is because we all are our own worst clients. We just are. When it's so much easier for us to see it objectively when we're not the one that's personally involved, right? I make it harder for myself too. I even make my own writing harder sometimes. I'm going to be honest with you guys. When I sit down to write and when I'm not in the zone and I struggle, I too stare at the page and go, what do I need to say today? The reason that happens is because I've gotten in my head and I lost sight of what makes my message roar. So when I overthink it and I think about what do I want to say instead of what does my ideal client need to hear? And I put my focus on what I know about my ideal client, what they're struggling with, what they need to hear from me to have the support and encouragement to keep going, then the content flows easier because I have all of my messaging defined, right? I know how to talk about everything I believe in messaging. I know how to tell you that you need to be relatable and one of a kind and actionable and reliable to be seen as the expert. When I lose sight of that and I forget all the things, all the words and the feelings that I know communicate to my ideal client, then writing gets hard, even for me. I created a whole new email onboarding nurture sequence, whatever you want to call it. And I struggled with that email content for the better part of 2 weeks. Overthinking it. What do I want to say? What do I need them to hear? And I got in my head too much so that the content did not flow. It did not come out of me. But the moment I stepped away from it, because I was clearly coming at it from the wrong perspective, I stepped away for a couple days and I came back and I thought to myself, I put myself in my ideal client's shoes and they are going to read these emails from me. What do they want and need to hear from me? And you know what? I busted out 9 emails in less than 2 hours. So even for me, I have to make sure I'm in the zone, that I stay grounded in the message that I worked really hard to understand because I know it's a message that appeals to my ideal client. Sandy says we can teach ourselves many things, but we don't want to listen. Yeah. That's another one of my problems, by the way, that I'm working on, is that I always have to be right. Just saying. I'm totally fessing up to all this stuff today. I had no intentions of fessing up to this stuff today. But my mindset coach helped me see is that's so ingrained in me to always be right, including that I'm right that business has to be hard. That if I let it be easy, then I'm wrong. Ooh, okay, that was one I had to come to terms with, right? So if you are in this place where you're feeling discouraged about your message, you're not feeling confident, you're not roaring, you can choose to change that. You can choose to have the confidence, and it takes some work on your part, but that work doesn't have to be hard. Okay, I know I say that a lot. I say working on your message is hard. So let me preface that by saying, okay, it might be hard, but it's easier when you have someone who knows how to guide you through that process and breaks that down for you step by step, because chances are you've been working on this in your business. Fess up. You're working on how to talk to your ideal client. You're working on trying to get clear on who that is and what they need to know, like, and trust about you to invest with you. You've been working on your message. If you're still coming from a place, though, where you're feeling discouraged and not confident about it, you haven't done the right work to lay that in. Because once you have it, you will show up confident. Your message will roar. You will shake the ground, get heard, and your message will roar. Sandy says, when you truly love what you do, then it isn't as hard as you think. Yes, and yes, you need to love what you do and have passion for it and know why you do it. Absolutely 100% believe that. That passion is not enough to get your ideal clients to care about it. So that's why I say yes, and you absolutely need that first. And I'm the first to tell you, if you are not absolutely clear about what you are the expert in, what you can do better than anybody else the way you do it, then you're not my ideal client. Because you have to know that without a shadow of a doubt. You are an expert at what you do. You have the skills, the experience, you've studied, you've trained, whatever it is that makes you an expert at what you do. And what you need is to make sure everybody knows that too. But if you don't believe that yet, you're not ready to work with me. Get ready if that's the case, right? Figure out what that thing is that you're an expert in, that you want to be known for, that you can own and truly serve your clients. And then do the work that gives you the right words to attract those right people. And you can continue to do that alone. You can continue to figure that out. There are freebies. I'm actually going to share one of my freebies with you today to help you get started. And you can continue to try and figure that out on your own. But what happens when you struggle and you get discouraged and you lack the confidence because you don't know how to plug into the next thing? When you have somebody who is there to guide you and coach you every step of the way, and you're not alone, and you get the outside perspective from someone who knows how to do that, who knows how to ask you the right questions to keep you moving down the path, that's how you get out of being discouraged. We all need outside perspective. I invest thousands of dollars a year in coaching and in programs and in mentorship to help me, because I can't be good at everything. I want to learn from the people who are the best at what they do in their area of expertise, and then get the support to help me through that. I don't buy courses that don't have some sort of support that goes with them. I know I'm not a DIYer that just wants you to give me the training and I'll figure it out. The reason I make investments is because I want help when I get stuck trying to implement the thing, right? You can buy a map, but what happens when there's a road closure or a traffic accident and you need to divert and find a new path? You want the help. Hey, Elizabeth, sorry you're having tech trouble. The replay will be available here in just a moment. I'll be wrapping it up here soon. Sandy says, I agree. Outside perspectives are wonderful. I'll go so far as to say they are imperative. because we are too close to our own stuff. I want to leave you with this. You can absolutely feel confident and courageous in your message. Absolutely. And you deserve it. You might not know how to get there by yourself because unless you're a messaging person, you don't know how to develop that. You're an expert at the thing you do. I'm the expert at the thing I do. And that's helping you pull out from what's already inside you, your truest, most authentic message that will be relatable to your dreamiest clients. One of a kind, so you don't sound like anybody else. Actionable, so that marketing content creation is easier and allows your ideal clients to take action to want to work with you. And it allows you to be reliable, showing up every single time as the expert that you are. If you don't have that yet, I invite you to go ahead and grab my freebie. Let me see, do I have the URL here? You can grab my freebie, which will give you 4 things that you can start doing right now today to make your message roar. Let me put a background on that so that it's easier to read. Just go to karieprice.com/4things. And if you take nothing away from this, other than to know that we all get discouraged, we all struggle when we lose sight of what our message needs to do. And that's communicate directly to the heart of our dreamiest clients. It's so much harder without it. But when you have it, you can stand out in your market. You can get your message heard. You can make your message roar. And that's what I want for you. Thank you so much for watching this week. I will be back again next week, every Tuesday at 11 a.m. Eastern. If you would like to be notified directly of my topics each week so that you can decide if you would like to join me live, you can get that sent to you directly via Facebook Messenger. Go to karieprice.com/notify me to get on that list. Sandy and Sarah, thank you so much for being here. I'm so glad you found this valuable, and I will see you guys next week. Until then, have a great week. Bye.